Hey there, YouTube friends. Masked Bandit here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I always do appreciate it, and I am super duper excited to bring to you a look at the South American DLC for Planet Zoo. Big shout out, big thank you to Frontier for giving me this opportunity to make this video for you. Ready to go the day that the DLC has dropped. There's lots of great stuff in this DLC that I want to share with you. Some amazing scenery pieces, and of course, four new animals and one exhibit animal. We're going to look at everything that's in the paid DLC. There's a free update also, and it has some free pieces in it too, like glass walls and some other foliage, and they've snuck some things in there. I'm not going to go over that in this video. We are strictly going to go over what you get when you pay. There might actually, that's not true. There's a couple things in there that are free, I think. Anyway, let's take a look at the scenery first, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at the animals. And I hope you're excited. I know I am. So if you're considering purchasing, stick around, and hopefully this will help make your decision a little easier. All right, so first things first, we have two brand new wall sets. I guess you could call it four, but two new wall sets, a bamboo set. Here, let's just open this up. We have a bamboo set, and we have a temple wall set, and on the right side is the default, or the not recolorable set, and on the left is all the recolorable pieces you're going to get. It is a complete set for the bamboo. It's a little bit sparser for the temple pieces, but as always, if there's one thing Frontier is really good at, it is the visuals and the audio, and that is totally true with this. The bamboo pieces have some really cool non-gridded objects. All of these here are non-gridded items, which means lots of freedom. One of my favorite parts of DLCs is figuring out what I can use in unique and interesting ways. This reminds me a lot of some of the stuff we got in the Adventure DLC for Planet Coaster. Just kind of upgraded and improved. This bamboo set is really a notch above what we would be getting in Planet Coaster. So these are really nice. This temple set here is useful, I think, for more than just temples. You can do all kinds of different things. I like just generic basic pieces, and this pack has a lot of them. So these are your basic wall pieces. So let's move on and take a look at the roofs. Alrighty, so as you could see, we have a lot of different roof options, or a complete roof set, I should say, in the bamboo theme. This is the thatch. We kind of got an upgraded thatch set here. So we have thatch corners, we have thatch curves, we have thatch peaks. But you'll notice that we have a 5 meter, which I think is new. I don't think we have anything that's 5 meter in the game currently. So you can get some really steep roofs here if I duplicate and rotate and put it on the grid the way it's supposed to be. Boop. That's going to give us a bit steeper of a grid of a roof there, which is really cool for this set here. And it gives it a little bit of uniqueness and interest. So everything else is pretty standard with these. We got some nice little overhangs here. So, standard roof set. This might be a little bit harder for me to find use for us. I mean, I think you can use it in the African set to make. I think it spans more than just South America, but it is rather specific and not nearly as generic. But can I say that Frontier, you've done a much. The thatch in Planet Zoo is miles and above the thatch we had in Planet Coaster. So really good job. I'm excited to play with this and get it going. So these are your main building. If you're into building on grid and kind of taking it, not going into that really crazy detail level, these are probably the pieces you're going to be using the most. But let's take a look at some other pieces that are not gridded and offer a bit more flexibility. So I put these pieces over by themselves because I think these are my favorite pieces in the entire pack. But it's just beams. You're right, it's just beams. It's more variety of beams. We have a thick beam, a narrow beam, and a square beam. Different sizes, regular texture, and recolorable. We also have bamboo of the same variety. We have a thick and a thin bamboo, and with recolorability. And you'll see, I tried to do the rainbow here, the spectrum. You can see, I love the saturation, and I love the recolorability, the flexicolor on these. I think they are done really, really well. And then you've got all these little ropes down here that you can use. You can take your rope and you can put it on your bamboo. See, I have snapping on, and if you don't know how to do that, you hit F. The F key is the snap key. When you don't have it, you can hit it again, and it'll snap to your bamboo. Look at that, it's so cute. And you can do the same for this one. It attaches really nicely to these beams, and they have different sizes for each of the beams. I'm not sure if they might not have one for the square here. Oh, our llama had offspring. We'll have to go check that out. You're just in time to see the baby. So I think these are my favorite pieces, but I did put right next to them some other non-gridded pieces. These are in like the support structures where a lot of like the iron girders are and stuff. And I always forget that this list exists, but there's some really awesome pieces in here. I love the ruined texture here. That's fantastic. Again, maybe a bit niche in what you can use them for, but creative people will find ways to use these in creative ways. But these recolorable stone pieces here, I think, have a lot of promise in multiple applications. So I think that this little bit right here is my favorite part of the entire pack. So there are lots of other options. Let's take a look at what else there is. Here's a look at the new doors and windows that come with the South America DLC. You'll notice that I have the green one is recolorable. Anything that has this green color here is recolorable, and so I made some options. Just a few pieces, but I like the addition. I think some of these windows can serve some other purposes. Again, that's what I'm always looking for, some ways to serve other purposes than just a South American theme. And here's all the various wall details and the various signage and stuff. We have 2 custom signs, or editable text signs down here. I just wrote the word Amazon on them. We have some big relief here. Relief carvings, temple carvings in gold, recolorable, and stone. And that's how I've laid all these pieces out, so to add some detail to your temples. Gold, recolorable, and stone. And then we have the, signage and the decals, and look at these. I love these. These are fantastic, and they're all recolorable, and the flowers here are all recolorable, and I believe even the plants are all recolorable. Yeah, we can recolor the plants too. So everything here except for the frog and the monkey, and I think the temple. Yeah, the temple is not either. Everything else in this menu, in this part here, is recolorable. The red, if it's the rusty red color, or all this stuff is recolorable. So that's super exciting. I don't think the stick is, but yeah, super excited. You can see I recolored the llama one just to see what that looked like. So very, very excited to get using these. Love the art on them, love the style, and obviously this is highlighting the new animals in the pack. We have Jaguar, the Capuchin, I think that's how you say it, oh my goodness, the llama and the anteater, and then the Amazon tree frog. Super cool with those bright red eyes. So very pumped. Love these details. Love how it's a little bit different than what's going on with anything else in the game. It really is a unique style. And here we have some dressing, some covers for your education boards and for your shops. We got a nice awning here. The colors are very nice on this. It is also recolorable, so it's really nice to see Frontier taking a step towards more recolorability. I know that's one thing a lot of people were bringing up when the game first launched, so it's always nice to see that your feedback's being taken into consideration. And the amount of recolorability in this pack, I think, alone is what makes it worth it. Heck, for me, those beams over there are what make it worth it, as silly as that sounds. I love those beams. So yeah, just a couple little pieces here to dress up stalls and dress up your education boards. One thing I was a little disappointed in was the amount of objects we get. We got a lot of stuff to put on walls, but as far as statues and other things go, I was a little disappointed in the selection here. We have a couple new lamps, and actually these butterflies illuminate as well. So if I switch it to nighttime, you'll see that they glow really nicely. I like the llama statue and I like the jaguar statue. These heads, I don't don't think I'm ever going to be using these. And to be frank, these lights and stuff are a little too themed for me. But I get it. It's a themed pack, so I understand. And for some of you, you may be totally all about it. And then I'm glad that this is here for you guys. But for me, I'll probably use the Jaguar statue, probably use the llama statue, maybe use the butterflies. But this stuff I'm probably not going to use. So let's go take a look at the brand new foliage that comes with this pack. So at first I was disappointed when I saw the amount. I thought there would be a lot more for a Rainforest DLC, but I do believe in the free update there are a few new foliage items. There's some new rock sets, and that's what these are here. These are actually, I think, free update items, so we'll talk about those in just a second. But these are the foliage you get with the DLC. You get some Brazil nut trees here, 3 different shapes and sizes, and these are just glorious. For big old canopies, that'll look really great. So I'm really... Those are very nice looking. This tree. We have this tree. It's I like the spindliness of them. I think I'm probably going to use them, like sink them down a bit and probably use them that way. And then we've got a smattering of smaller plants. We have some, I think these, what are these? These are the bromeliads. Yeah, we have some bromeliads, and we have hanging Cattleya orchids, so some orchids, and they are recolorable. We have these here, the monkey face orchids, and we have some plumeria flowers. If you want plant stuff, you're going to have to watch Mike Sheets, because he knows what he's talking about. We got some hanging moss, some Spanish moss here, some more that like snaps to walls, and then some more that are like individual. Like these would be good just for hanging. I think these are going to work better against walls. So, and then you get this log, and I want to show you what this log does. It threw me off at first. When I move the log, look at the textures. I guess this is called dynamic moss. This is something new. I guess it has to tie in with the voxel terrain stuff, because you'll see it moves, which means you can have different logs in different spots and they're not going to look the exact same, which is really kind of neat. That's a neat little thing. And that brings me to the rocks. These are dynamic moss rocks. And if I'm correct, these are part of the free update. But look at that. Isn't that weird? Like, it threw me off. I thought there was something wrong with my game. It's almost like they're see-through, and they just have a little bit of moss texture. Now, I'm curious, if I paint over them, what's going to happen if I paint sand under them? Oh, okay, so nothing changes. Okay, that's cool. So that's interesting. That's different. And then we also have a moss set that is just plain old. You move it around. The textures go with it. So one last thing, I think, let me see, yeah, one last thing to look at in the DLC, and that is going to be some of the blueprints that come with the new, that come with the DLC, some of the Frontier blueprints. Before we get to the blueprints that Frontier made for us, I want to take a look at the new paths. Forgot about the new paths. There are 2.5-ish new paths. We have 2 types of bamboo, where the bamboo is running in perpendicular directions. And then we have ourselves a temple pathing system, and I did include what the fencing and barriers look like. So this rope fencing is indeed the fencing for the path that we saw in some of those teaser images. So that's very cool. It may actually make me want to use the fencing some more, because I really like that. There is a new bench that is super cute. I think it is also recolorable. A new trash bin, and a new picnic table with umbrella. And I think all of this is also, yes, all of this is also recolorable. So very cool. And I think that's about it over here. Let us go ahead now and look at some of the blueprints that came with this DLC. So these are not all of them, but these are just a few examples of what Frontier has put together for those of you who like to do kind of a plop and play thing. So we have covers for all of these facility buildings. We have our quarantine small and large. We have, and this is also a nice way to kind of get to see how to put these pieces together, what they had in mind, I think, as they were building. So a temple here with the golden llama on top. I love it. I want to see somebody make a Emperor's New Groove Zoo. I think that'd be funny. Look at the treehouse. I think they stole that from Ruble Trillion's Tivoli Zoo. I liked actually hear what they did with some of the foliage stuff. Look at all the pretty butterflies, and they're adorable. But like, these are nice. You can just throw these in and you're good to go. It automatically ups your scenery. So if I zoom out here, don't look at my zoo, but here's all the scenery that you're gonna get in the DLC. It is a lot. One thing they don't have a problem with is the amount of pieces you're getting in this DLC. So if you're one of those people that craves new building blocks and new Legos, like I do enjoy that a lot, then you're probably going to want to pick this up, because there are some pieces in here that are really going to do an awesome job at expanding your creativity, I think. So with that being said, I think what most of us are excited about, I know me, are the new animals. So let us go ahead into my really janky zoo, and we're going to go look at some animals. So the first animal I want to look at is the exhibit animal. There's one exhibit animal in this DLC, and he's right there on the window. Let's see how close we can get. It is the Amazon tree frog with those big red eyes. Look at that. It's modeled very, very well. I'm going to tell you what, I do not do a lot with these exhibits. I have not touched them very much because they're kind of static, and I get that's what they would be IRL, but yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's fine. I would love someday to see the exhibits extend into small mammals or extend into fish. I think that'd be a great direction to go. I'd love to see some different sized exhibits in the future. But for this DLC, we get this little guy here, and he is really cool looking. I mean, let's be honest, there's nothing wrong with Frontier's modeling capabilities and animations. They've got this on lock, so really cool looking frog. Let's go look at the bigger ones. So the first new animal we're going to look at here is the giant anteater, and I've actually seen these at the Brookfield Zoo in the Tropic World. They troll around on the bottom of the exhibit at Tropic World, and this guy is just crazy. Look at those claws. My goodness, love this guy. And I just threw this exhibit together really, really quickly just to kind of give you an idea of what you can do. The size, I was playing with welfare turned on, so you can see. And this is about the minimum size requirement for this animal. In-game, I have the in-game shelter. This is one of the new shelters that came with the DLC. And there's a termite mound. Now, I'm not sure if this was in the game. I think this might be one of the new enrichment items, specifically for Mr. Anteater there. But I love the textures on this, and he's happier than a pig in punch in here. One of the things, a lot of these, two of these animals are pretty solitary. Like, an anteater can exist by itself. It's perfectly happy being just a one-off in here. And the Jaguar is also happy being a one-off. So that's kind of interesting. I like when we have that opportunity to have animals just solitary animals. So the next animal, though, is the complete opposite of that. And here we have the Columbian white-faced Capuchin Monkey, I think is what it is. And you can see there's one jumping all over the climbing structures in there. This is all in-game assets. I did not take time to build my own climbing structures or anything like that. These guys, you need an absolute troop. I think I had 9 in here before they got happy. So you need at least 9. They are loud. I think you can hear them on the video. They are so incredibly loud. They never shut up. So if you want these in your zoo, they are going to be very, very, very loud. They do have climbing requirements, and the exhibit here is actually quite large for them. They can climb out, so you got to be careful with that. But they are a nice, smaller New World monkey that I would love to see more of. There are so many great small monkey species out there. I would love to see them implement more in the future. Also wish they would climb more, but that's something that's always been, thus far, a struggle with these games, is getting them to actually climb if they're arboreal. One thing, there's some new bedding. Look at this, there's just leaf bedding. You've got the hay and the leaf bedding now, which I think is kind of interesting. So, excuse me, another little new thing. And there's also a newly decorated ball themed to the South American looking motif we have going on here. So, super cool. These guys, I don't know, they're awfully loud. I don't know if I'm going to have them in my zoo. Let's keep looking, though. And here we have the animal that I am most excited about for the DLC. I'm sorry, but I just love goofy, derpy things. Like, my favorite animal in the Arctic pack was the doll sheep, and I'm almost positive my favorite one here is going to be these awesome llamas. These are hilarious. I love the llamas. We even have some baby llamas. Baby llama. And these guys are really easy to take care of. These are probably the easiest animal to care for in the DLC. They only require food and water with some basic enrichment. They don't require hard shelter. They don't require foliage, even though I put some in there. Super easy animals to take care of, and I bet you that they would probably be a good starting animal for your zoo. So love these little guys, and as soon as the DLC was announced, I actually went online and checked out like llama farms. Like, what do they look like? So I think I'm going to make myself a llama farm. I know that Frontier is talking about including more color variety, and I can't wait for that to happen, because right now all these llamas being white, I'd love to see some of the variety represented, browns and red, black, and all different colored llamas. So, but yeah, I love the llamas. And here I think we have the animal that most people are excited for, and kind of the big ticket in this DLC, and that is the Jaguar. And it is majestic and beautiful. The animal does have climbing requirements, just like it should, and you can put lots of foliage in its enclosure, but this is a beautiful, beautiful animal, and I'm so excited to see another big cat, and especially the Jaguar, in the game now. I think it was sorely missing, and I'm really glad to have it back. And what I tried to do with this particular exhibit is just kind of dress it up with some of the in-game things you already have, plus some of the new foliage items we got in this DLC to kind of show you the idea. So if I were doing this like for real, I would really be taking my time, and it would be just absolutely covered in foliage, because these animals, I mean, they lurk in the jungle, and just look at those spots. Like, so pretty. So overall, I think that this DLC is solid. You get a lot of building things for what you're getting. It's a lot of scenery items. My biggest concern, though, is that I would have loved to see a couple more animals at the expense of some of those scenery items. I know that in Planet Coaster, it was all about the scenery items for the DLCs, for me at least, because that was, for me, what made the theme park, was being able to build in different themes, and obviously a DLC like that allowed that so much easier. For me, the zoo game is all about the animals, and I really would have liked to see a few more animals in the DLC instead of all those scenery pieces, as awesome as they are. That being said, this is incredibly solid, this DLC. The four habitat animals that you get are beautifully modeled and are great additions to the game, to the list of species that we have. The exhibit animal, the frog, looks fantastic. Lots of great things for you to play with, and lots of great pieces for you to explore and expand your creativity. I can't be too upset, even though it's not quite what I wanted. It's really good. One thing I would love to see in future DLCs is a different mechanic, a different either flying or swimming or tunneling, or even exhibit animal keeper talks, or playgrounds, or things that seem to be prevalent in just about every zoo. So those are the kind of things I'd love to see Frontier kind of start heading towards, as opposed to these super scenery heavy DLCs. But that being, with all that, this is still, I think, for the price, you're getting a lot of stuff here. So if you liked what you saw, and I highly recommend you purchase the DLC. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see some Planet Zoo content from me, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. So with all that being said, I guess have yourself a great day, great night, great whatever, and I will see all of you for some Planet Zoo content. I'll talk to you later, everyone. Bye-bye.